What's going on, everybody? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to give the other girl I'm trying to give Verity who the live stream link, and I like totally gave her the wrong one that was like from last week. So I'm like, I'm just realizing it's my fault. So you,
Oh,
you want to talk about entering a live stream? Yeah, yeah. It says it's an old link. She just told me now. I feel so.
oh God.
I'm like tearing because it's so bad. Oh my gosh! I hope I'm like sending. I sent everybody the wrong one. Hold on, let me make sure. All right, guys, I'm sorry. We're gonna start on like literally like now. We're gonna start. So for those of you watching, oh, there she goes. Give it 1 second. I'm so sorry. I just told her name. So we have M here. I was just telling M. I'm like literally the live stream started like, and I'm like with my phone there like because I forgot to send you the right link, and I'm so sorry,
I
girl.
know. I was like, you keep telling me to hurry, but it's an old link. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Lo siento. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
gosh.
What's going
Wait,
on,
how
guys?
come I got the right link then?
You
Because he doesn't
know,
like me.
yeah, it's just the thing with Jasmine. It's a brother sister type of thing. We have that relationship. But I want to thank you guys, and for whoever's watching and that will watch, thank you as we're trying to push this channel, being the Eternal Sith. Live streams is a brand new channel. As you guys know, I have my other channel that is monetized finally. Um,
Yay.
that's the bigger channel that we're just like not doing live streams no more. We'll do them here, so and have some fun. I want to welcome a new person, a new addition to the fam. I want before I introduce, she can introduce herself and talk, and you could talk a little bit about yourself and basically like what got you into Star Wars and what your goal is and where to find you. So you could go
Okay.
for it.
Well,
For it.
hello everyone. I'm very happy, very honored to be here. I'm M Angel. Yeah, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 5 years old. It started when I was at my grandma's house and I found her collector's edition of the original trilogy
Mm.
and watched it. Thought it was a horror movie because of Vader's mask on the cover, and I was a very sheltered child. So, like, I wasn't allowed to just surf through on the TV. I basically had to pick and choose movies that already were at my house or my grandma's house. So when I found it, I was like, what's this? And fell in love with it. A few years later, watched Revenge of the Sith for the first time, and that was it. Been a hardcore fan ever since. You can find me on Instagram at mkenobi. Same for my Twitter. My TikTok is m_Kenobi. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just, not trying to be a content creator, just kind of trying to make more Star Wars friends.
I feel you. I feel you. Make sure you make the right ones though. You don't want to make the
The
wrong.
right ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, true.
There are a lot of wrong ones. So that we me and Jasmine we can attest to that. You'd be surprised. You would be
Yeah.
surprised. But thank you for hopping on. I appreciate it. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. As this is I mean it's fun, right, Jasmine? And again, obviously,
Mhm.
Jasmine, introduce yourself. I mean everybody knows who you are, but go for it, girl.
Hey guys, it's Jasmine. I don't really have much to say. Kind of take well, because I'm taking a little break from social media. Just got a lot going on, but yeah, my name is Jasmine. It's always a fun time here because we just they
Bullshit.
bullshit. It's always such a good time though. It's fun. So yeah.
It is, and that's the thing. We try to keep it to the point where everybody's comfortable, everybody's having fun, and we just keep it Star Wars. Like that's what it's about at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's trying to find the right people and just enjoying it with people that enjoy what you love, right? And that is Star Wars. I gotta ask you a question. I gotta ask you a question before we start and get into like the news because we're gonna talk about a lot of things. Like we have a bunch of stuff. What did you think of the Kenobi series? Like, what do you rate it? Like, I want to get. I feel like we have to ask Jasmine, right? Like
Oh yeah.
everybody.
At this point, we have to ask anyone that's on.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
yeah. Like, what
Oh
were your thoughts? Like,
gosh.
we're not gonna dive into it, Jasmine. So it's just more for her to answer, so we could just get
Mhm.
like everybody knows and gets where your
Okay.
mindset is.
All right. Definitely a controversial opinion. Well, first, I'll start with saying this. Obi-Wan, all-time favorite character. all-time favorite Star Wars character. I was like the person that cried when it first got announced. I was so excited for Hayden to come back. Then the show aired, and I did not like it. I did not like it. Didn't think it needed to happen. Now looking back, I wish it had been the movie it was supposed to be. I wish they stuck with the original writer. I'm not going to say anything bad about Deborah as a person. I just think her directing style was a little inconsistent with the show. Definitely should have focused way more on Obi-Wan and Anakin. I mean, I feel like you guys can agree that we were like baited with Hayden in every interview, Star Wars Celebration. He was right everywhere. Everyone was like hyping it up. And I think he maybe got 3 lines in the show. You know?
Yeah, I would say the most screen time, of Hayden, right, was at the end when we saw him with the broken mask.
Yeah, and then but like as Vader, when they use James's voice over him, so he really doesn't get to act himself except for him saying Obi-Wan, and then obviously like the one flashback scene we got, which the faction only had one flashback scene.
Yeah, and he was not 19 in that one or 18.
No, yeah, I don't know, and I know people like. They say, well, you should just be thankful we even got them back to begin with. But I don't feel that way. I just think that they knew how big that show should have been. Yeah. And I mean, the fact it got the 90 mil budget, the lowest budget any Star Wars show's gotten. Meanwhile, Andor is like Andor's like 150 or something.
Yeah.
Insane. Like, I don't know. And for me, stuff in canon got broken because of the show that I felt was just fan service. They wanted us to watch them fight again. I felt like Kathy baiting us, saying it was going to be the rematch of the century, which for me, I think the fight in Revenge of the Sith is so much more iconic and memorable versus the fight. I mean, but it could have been like such a great fight scene, I think. And I was sad that they used Hayden's stunt double for it, because I know Hayden physically could have held his own for the fight. And I felt like that's why the sequence didn't look as believable, kind of fan filmy, in my opinion. There's just, I wanted to love it so much, and unfortunately I didn't. So
I know. I it's funny because I have to go back. I haven't watched this since like it dropped. I haven't like seen the whole.
Same. It's like the rewatch, like it's just not there for me, and it should be. That should be the thing, that because like Revenge of the Sith, I could watch that movie every day and not get bored of it. I don't think I'll rewatch Kenobi.
I think I will. I think it's just more a matter of when I have the time. I haven't had time to watch shit, honestly. Like I have no time, even if I wanted to. I'm like, and like that's how it is majority of the time with myself. Like I'll watch Star, because you know what it is? It's so long. Like if anything, I would probably want to go back and watch the Kenobi series, but it's just like the movies like are so long, so super long.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that you definitely need some time to have like a palate cleanser, and then go back, and see if there's anything different that you like about it, or if you still don't like it, that's okay too.
Yeah. Right. Ironically, I feel like watching episode 3 is going to make me dislike it even more, because those characters are in their prime in that film, and then we go to what we got in Kenobi, which I know it's a 10-year gap, but I just think the script that they were given, the characters, it just wasn't fleshed out how I felt like they could have done it. The potential like could have been there,
Well, you have to remember, episode 3 was George Lucas. He was a part of every single thing, like the writing, the directing, just everything overall, the editing. He was there for that. Where as for this, he wasn't there. It wasn't his vision.
And it's funny because I made a TikTok on this and I got flamed by some Star Wars content creators on it. But I stand firm on my opinion, is that everyone hypes up Dave Filoni and they say that's the new George Lucas. And he got promoted to executive creative producer.
He did.
So who's responsible then for the Kenobi show being a flop? Like, I felt like he only cares about Ahsoka at this point, and I feel like he kind of left Deborah in the weeds to fend for herself with that show. And he should have been there.
Actually, believe it or not, it was more John that was helping out Deborah Chow with this. It wasn't really Dave. Because
it should have been Dave. It's like, I feel like that's his job at that point. And especially with Clone Wars being his baby. And that gave us so much more Anakin and Obi-Wan content.
You see, I disagree respectfully, of course, right? I don't think it's really his baby because George Lucas was really a part of that as well. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Mhm.
it's still George Lucas's characters. It's just, you know, and the story, and really the story was really his too. Like this was all his
Mhm.
vision. It's like the lower levels of Coruscant, like they were supposed to do something, the underworld or whatever.
Right, the
Um,
game or something that they were gonna do.
Right, and you see, like now in Andor, it looks like we're going to be exploring that. And that one scene in the trailer when they're going down, and it looks like
Right.
they're going
Yeah.
to the lower levels. That's George Lucas's vision. So in reality, it's like if I'm going to take it right, I mean, in reality, I can't really blame Dave Filoni because, as you said, right, like the Clone Wars is his baby. It's true, but to a certain extent, because it's more about that he just kind of went in depth on the characters that were already established as opposed to like Ahsoka, that's his character. So like,
Right. Yeah.
for example, like the Ahsoka series, I could see him, which he's gonna be right, full throttle, and you know that that show is gonna succeed and it's gonna thrive. It's gonna be everything and probably more than we even think.
I don't
You know,
know.
but he is, you know, and that's the part that you're kind of like, you know, you wish Kenobi was done better, but listen, if George Lucas isn't gonna do those main characters, those original characters, I personally, in my opinion, respectfully, can't see this. Like, I can't see Kenobi, Anakin, their story really going any deeper or any making it look any better. That's in my opinion.
Did you see or like read any articles about what the original writer wanted to do for his movie?
For the Kenobi movie?
Yeah, like how.
I mean, I heard bits and pieces. I know, like, again, there was supposed to be that, the Book of Boba Fett. There was supposed to be, I'm not the book, Boba Fett, the Boba Fett movie. There was supposed to be a whole bunch of things. The Kenobi one, I'm not too fond of. No, if you want, go for it, girl.
Okay. I mean, well, I was just curious because there was some stuff in it that I liked a lot better, but I feel like compared to the writer we got, I mean, the whole controversy of him like admitting that he never really saw the prequels and like he didn't even know that Obi-Wan like knew like Anakin was Darth Vader and had to like ask Pablo Hidalgo for like that information, and people got really mad because they're like, how can you give someone like this much power over this show who doesn't really know like the main stuff? I just feel like since this project was announced so long ago, they had so much time to get it right.
True.
You know, and sure, it's not all like solely on Dave, it's not solely on Deborah, but I just think that they knew it was going to be so big. So it's going to be disappointing to see Andor and probably Ahsoka do so well, which got so much less time to be made, you know? Because like Andor's, I mean, that trailer was movie quality, you know?
Yeah.
That should have been Kenobi. I mean, some of the CGI in that show, I was like, this is like fan film level. I mean, there's fan films that do CGI better than some of this stuff. And getting, you know, like a 30-minute episode when originally it was said every episode was going to be an hour long.
Yeah,
you know,
they really shit the bed with that one. I agree with you there.
Yeah, there was just a lot of stuff I felt like could have been done better. And now the rumor of a season 2, I'm happy for Ewan, but I can't help but feel it's a cash grab.
We'll talk about that we're gonna talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, the season 2 stuff we'll talk about in just a bit. But
oh boy.
Yeah.
You know I have opinions.
I know.
I have a lot of opinions.
No, listen, we love it though. That's what makes this fun, right? Because like if we didn't, it'd be if we all agreed with each other, it would be so boring to do this. I'm not gonna lie to you. So like I look, we appreciate it, we commend it. So I mean, do you? But we are gonna talk about. Oh, it didn't let me do it. Let's talk about Tales of the Jedi, right? So I can't pull up. Unfortunately, I can't pull up the article because it will exit me out, so I can't do that. But it looks like that we're supposed to see with the sixth brother getting introduced in this into live action. Now, for those of you who don't know, the sixth brother dies at the hands of Ahsoka in the Ahsoka novel, which you know, right, Jasmine?
That was the stupidest death I've ever read. That's why I love the Inquisitors, but oh my god, that was painful.
Okay, so perfect. So I want you to talk about this in just a second. So, it looks like we're going to be getting that in animation, in like for the first time. We're going to be seeing that because you see the two of them standing off, and it looks like, you know, we're going to see the formation basically, or the thing of her basically doing her white lightsabers. And if you can attest how that happens in the novel, I don't know if you read the Ahsoka novel.
I did not.
Okay. So
Don't
I'll
read
give
it.
it to you, Jasmine.
Don't read it. Okay.
Don't read it.
So
Okay,
it's
go for it.
so they already like have retconned that novel, even though it's supposed to be Disney canon.
Right.
So
What's canon nowadays, though?
God,
They
I
don't
know.
know.
At this point, I don't know what canon. I mean, like it was a cute book to read, but there was I did like the book, but I have to admit there was just so much cringe. It was like reading an episode of The Office, but Star Wars.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, like at first I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then when I reread it, I was like, oh no. That's like when you're 12, when you read Twilight, you're like, this is so good. And then when you're like 22, you're like, oh no.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was kind of like that. So I guess spoilers, not spoilers. So on here, everyone knows I love the Inquisitors because they're kind of dumb, but I love them so much. Like they're a little useless at times, and this one was extremely useless in the book.
Oh, why? But let me ask you, Jasmine. I mean, you've seen the pictures. I wish I could turn it up. Okay, so I'm gonna try to share it. It's gonna exit me out, but I need you guys to hold down the fort, and I'll be back. So I'm gonna leave you with this question, and then I'll pull it up. Why is it that he looks so scary? Why does he look so scary? Because
I know that there was a comic drawing of him. I think he was in some of the comics, so I don't know if they're basing it off of that or not.
they are. Yeah, they are. So continue that, and I'm gonna probably pop back in for a second, but dive into and explain basically like what happened with him in the book, the fight scene, if you don't mind.
It wasn't even a real fight scene. It was like the most useless thing ever. So basically, like,
No, I need to kill some time. I need you to talk about it.
okay. So basically, him and Ahsoka are kind of like going back and forth with his lightsaber, and he's in. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, they're going back and forth with his lightsaber. She's like, "Give me the crystal," and he's like, "No, my crystal." And it like they were kind of tugging back and forth with the. I think it was using the force, like half the force, half hand, something.
Oh, God.
They're basically like in a tug of war for this freaking lightsaber, and then it explodes and it kills him. And then she's like, "Cool, my kyber crystals now."
Wait,
I'm
who
like,
wrote it?
It was E.K. Johnson, which sucks because I like her other books. But so, from my understanding, when it comes to these Star Wars books, usually, nowadays for the authors with the Disney canon, they're like, "This is what we want you to write, like this, but just write it out as a story." So I don't know how much creative liberty she was actually given.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean,
That
there's
was
so
like,
much more you can do, especially in a book. Because I mean,
It was-
stories you can do whatever you want.
it was wild. I was like, this Inquisitor is so useless. I love him, but he's absolutely the definition of useless.
You have useless.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I have, and I upgraded to the rubber band, so I can't open my mouth much.
Oh, so you can't. Oh, okay. So you can't show us what an Inquisitor would look like smiling.
I think like that. I think it'd be like the creepiest, most like, I don't know, awkward. You know, when you tell little kids smile and they just, I think that's how an Inquisitor would probably smile.
Wow, that's good to know. Thank
Wait,
you.
do you have braces?
Yeah, I have braces.
Same. I'm supposed to have my bands and I don't.
Oh.
I just got them last night at like 1 a.m. Oh, yay!
So
I do like his design.
Yeah, like he looks dope. And like I did a video on this, and like let me get the part where it says here. So like it says, according to the information, obviously from the Vader comics, as you see here, the sixth brother was a former Jedi named Bill Valen. He was notably ruthless, and he had a particularly terrifying visage. He was a nomad. He was a humanoid, but his species was unidentifiable. He was tall and slender with unnatural looking gray skin and piercing ice blue eyes. Well, the blue eyes is nice. At least he has blue eyes. I'd give for that. He even had a scar-like markings on his nose, cheek, and chin. So, I mean, he's, and he is supposedly, while he is scarier looking in the comics, he is set to make another appearance, and this time he will look even more terrifying.
Ooh.
So, I mean, listen, I'm not mad about this news.
His design looks really cool. When I was doing research on his character, I was like, oh my gosh, he seems so cool. And then the Ahsoka book, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he looks like a dope character. I mean, I can't see them like. I guess it's gonna be quick because if I'm not mistaken, since you read the book, I really didn't. Like I said, I don't read the book. I just kind of like listen to like little little things on it. Is it true? Wait, did she visit Padme's tomb in the book or her funeral?
I don't remember that. Maybe,
Okay.
but I really do not remember that happening. I think maybe somewhere in the comics that happened.
That's what I've heard is
So
why
no.
they're doing the funeral scene.
Right. So
I think she talks about the funeral, but I don't remember her actually being there because
I think she's gonna go in the
yes.
show.
So it is confirmed because I did a video on this that supposedly where this fight scene happens is like basically where this happens after her funeral, and I guess like he finds her whatever, and they basically throw down. But I'm guessing this isn't what I'm guessing. Whatever we saw, whatever you read in that book is going to become uncanonized because Tales of the Jedi is going to be canon. I'm assuming that this fight, did they even fight in the book, or it was just quick?
She kind of fought him, and then she got. So, do you guys remember that episode of The Mandalorian when he taught all the farmers to fight? That's basically what happened in the book.
Okay.
And then she played tug of war with an Inquisitor.
Okay, so then that kind of makes that makes a little bit more sense then because
it'll be so much better in the show. Like
I think
it will.
Yeah, I honestly believe that in the show it's gonna look a lot better.
They'll go all out.
Yeah, because hold on, give me 1 second. I want to pop it up here so you guys can see the image. This is what I'm getting from what you said, Jasmine. Kind of like that, like farming looking thingy.
Oh yeah. So in that part of the book, when they were doing the tug of war, God, the annoying tug of war. So her and a few other people, because she left the planet and she was like, I should go back. So she went back to help the farmers, and they were blowing up the Imperial base that they had set up. I think it was a moon on that moon.
Okay.
And then he's there and he's like, stop. And then they basically like kind of play tug of war with his lightsaber. It explodes, it kills him. And then she's like, cool, I have kyber crystals now. That's like literally what happened. Wow. So I'm hoping they changed it to an actual fight scene because if not, that's going to be a little whack.
I'm getting Maul season 7 vibes from this. I think it's going to be like all out. Because Dave, I think this is just my opinion. I think the animated shows are a lot better than the live action shows.
I agree.
So I'm the most excited for this show from anything else Star Wars related this year. I'm looking forward to this, and I love Ahsoka. So I think Dave's gonna like go all out for it.
I hope so because this looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Like I also too. I mean, from what I'm seeing and what I'm gathering, I'm assuming she's not gonna have anything. She's just gonna kind of fight him, like you said. It's gonna be like tug of war.
I think she had like a blaster and some detonators, but at this point, I think she had a light. She had the whole lightsaber except for the kyber crystals. That's why when he exploded, she's like, "Cool, I'll take these."
She had lightsabers, you said.
So in the book, she was building her lightsaber. The hilt, but she didn't have any kyber crystals. So when his lightsaber blew up after a little bit of tug of war, that's why she was like, okay, let me take these. And then she cleansed them, and that's how they became white lightsabers. Because
so when you say cleanse, like did she lo lavó en jamón? I mean, jamón. Washed it with some soap.
Did you watch the Fulcrum fan film?
There he is.
Hey, I live under a rock, so I don't really watch too many videos online.
What was it that you said? Oh, Fulcrum. Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like the scene that she did of how she interpreted how she cleansed the crystal.
Right.
I wonder if they're going to copy any of that into the show. Because I feel like she had a good concept.
So from what I remember reading in the book and online, he just left. Oh, debris. But
2 seconds.
So from what I remember in the book and what I read online, so basically like when the kyber crystal is bleeding because it's the dark side of the force, and so when it's cleansed, I think she uses the force and just uses that to cleanse it, and then that's how it becomes pure again, and then that's how she got the white lightsabers because she cleansed the kyber crystals.
Okay. Hey, listen, I'm all for it. I mean, I just want to see a good show. Like, honestly, like I think that it's cool to see this like hooded, like robed Inquisitor. Like, I think to me, like this is what I want to see out of an Inquisitor, looking like all like kind of like rugged, you know. And they're saying that his helmet's supposed to kind of look like an animal skull. So that's kind of like
I like that.
Yeah, like it just makes it like when I hear that, I'm just like, all right, like I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see things like that. I want to see like things that are made. Like, I don't know. I'm into to stuff like that. So, listen, if it looks like this dope fight scene that we're seeing here is going to be amazing, I'm cool with it. It's like you said. I think animation always hits harder. It's been hitting harder rather than the live action shit that we've gotten. So.
Yeah, I mean, anything's better than the Inquisitors and Kenobi, in my opinion. So, looks wise, like I think it's gonna be better in the animated show.
I love how like it has the guys on one side and then the girls on the other side. That's so wrong. YouTube,
That's funny.
That's so wrong.
What's up, all?
Welcome, Dupree. Nothing much, bro. Talking Tales of the Jedi. What are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on it for the Ahsoka and the Six Brothers scene?
I'm wondering how close it's gonna mirror the books.
I actually like that's what Jasmine was saying before. I think it might change
What's
it up.
What's up, DJ Jazzy Jazz?
Hey.
Hey. Hey.
Hey.
Hey.
So I mean, I think it's gonna shy away from the book a little bit. I think it's gonna take a little bit of like a little bit from the novel. But what do you think? You think it'll take a little bit because you think this will decanonize it? That's the question. Because I thought
the book already got decanonized. Like that, it's one day it's canonized, one day it's not. Like I thought it was done.
I mean, the first few pages literally were decanonized the second that the last season of the Clone Wars came out.
That is true. That is
true.
that
was fun to figure out. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with a lot of these shows is like even like they were talking about it for like the series, right? Like they were kind of worried that they asked the writer, right, of the book or the author, if they're afraid that this is going to get decanonized from that part. Like I know Dupree, you're saying like it's canon, it's not canon one day, but it's like the writer was just saying, look, even if you put like a little bit of the story in, from the book into the live action, I'm grateful. I'm cool with that, but. She said that she said that when they wrote the book, actually, Dave Filoni was a part of that. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, Dave Filoni was actually a part of that because that book happened right after Disney bought, if I'm not mistaken, Lucasfilm. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it was like a couple of years. It was like 2016, 2015.
Yeah,
right.
The book came out 2016, I think.
Yeah, so yeah. I saw that article that he was a part of that book, and I mean. Why wouldn't he? That's his character, right? I mean, he should be a part of it.
Anything with Ahsoka, Dave's like, no, like I have I'll say what happens to her.
Right. But again, he can alter it. So even regardless of whatever's in that book, again, he could change her story up. I mean, reality is like they're gonna be touching more. I mean, it's more Tales of the Jedi that would probably kind of ruin the canon of the book. Because again, that's the only show that looks like is going to talk about like that midpoint of her life. But I mean, the series, I mean, I don't see them really talking about her, her basically her prime. I don't see them talking about that part of her life. I would see more Tales of the Jedi diving into that. But I think I think she's going to probably have like a 2 or 3 episode arc. Because does anybody know how many episodes is supposed to be Tales of the Jedi? I'm not sure. So
it's not many, but I know that the majority are Ahsoka episodes.
Ooh.
Well, it's majority.
Well, it's her and then Dooku. Like he's supposed to have his own arc. Yeah,
right. He's supposed to have a 2-episode arc. She's supposed to have, I guess, a 2 or 3 episode.
I think it's 3. Hers is 3 because Ashley said something about like Dave asking her for 3 stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because you figure we get the one of her when she's a baby. It looks like then we get the one with Anakin, and then it looks like we get the one of. This one here that we got to see with this the sixth brother after the funeral of
for Tales of the Jedi, someone described it to me like basically Marvel's What If. Is it a What If series or is it just
no, it's all real.
It's
it's like the stuff we wanted to see but never did.
Yeah, think of it like what's that one show like it was kind of like little kids but girls kind of central cartoon show they tried to do like Forces of Destiny. It's gonna be like that, but just a lot better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's canon. Like it's just basically like the stories that I guess we never got told that we like either read in a book or a comic. is finally coming to live action. So, for example, like the turn of Dooku, seeing him, his hate, his anger towards Mace Windu now, as Mace Windu, he got basically promoted and he didn't. So we're gonna see that the turn, right? We're gonna see Qui-Gon as a young Padawan of Count Dooku, or so that's gonna be pretty cool to see. I mean, I'm hoping there's more stories. Like we're supposed to see the other character too that we never got to see, right? Is Yaddle. I mean, that's
she's in it. They're gonna I think that they said that
she dies.
Well, yeah, but they're gonna show her actually like figuring out what Dooku's doing and then confronting him. I'm so excited for that. Also,
he kills her.
Yeah, and then showing because the Ahsoka Order 66 scene, I saw people like asking how is she trained to like fight off all those clones? And then you saw in the trailer like Anakin has all the clones surrounding her for a training session. So it's and he says like I want you to be prepared for like anything. So it's almost like he was setting it up from the beginning for her, just to like without knowing what he was going to do. But I just think that's cool that they're going to tie it in that way.
He's done that a few times. Like he basically taught her like how to duel with somebody that's a lot bigger with you. Like so that's how she could fight Grievous and then eventually Vader. Like Anakin is Vader. And same thing with this. So it's like he's basically teaching her everything he knows, unbeknownst to him, so she can like actually stand up to him later.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. And I'm most excited for the Padme funeral scene because I want to see how they do it, but just the fact that Ahsoka's gonna be there. And I don't know if this is like no knowledge, but I always assumed that she didn't know Padme was pregnant since she left the Order before Padme got pregnant. So if she sees like, because in Revenge of the Sith we see like Padme's body, it still obviously shows that she was pregnant. Is she gonna be like, wait, did Anakin have kids? I don't know. Like that's what I wanted to know. If Ahsoka's then gonna like put the pieces together in that moment.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Whatever they do, they're gonna end up showing either that she knew about Luke and Leia, like in the actual Ahsoka series, because he's gonna pop up in there, and they're gonna talk about like how they met or do a flashback.
You're talking about for Luke and Ahsoka?
Yeah, because it's like they had them show up and be together in Book of Boba, but it's like, whoa, wait, I want to know like how they met and how that went down.
Yeah, I know. But wouldn't it just be so cool if that's how she found out at the funeral? Like that'd be so emotional.
Oh, I'd cry. I would cry. I'd be like,
I'm already gonna cry, but if that happened, I'd be dead.
I mean, you have to figure, right? I mean, but then the question is that like if she finds out, then I mean, wouldn't her? Because then I feel like for her character, wouldn't she go make that her job to like see where the kids are, unless she knew that Kenobi was watching over Luke, and then
no, she might think it was a stillbirth. Like if she sees that Padme was pregnant, she'll be sad, and also she's not gonna know it was twins. She might think it was just one baby and that the baby died. So then when she does meet Luke, like her mind is gonna be blown.
Yeah, but then when I feel like she would be. I mean, I'd be pissed.
I think she probably knows. Like, watch, she's gonna have had contact with like Obi-Wan or Yoda, even Bail Organa, and then know like, all right, I'll let them do what they need to do, and then I'll when the time is right, then I'll like make my appearance.
Because it could have been that could have been a thing where like she knew about Luke, and I'm with you, Dupree. I think that she knew about him. I just think the moment wasn't right, and she waited till basically after Return of the Jedi. It could have been either between Empire and Return, or it could have been right after. But I would say more before, because it looks like they've known each other for a while. So I would say probably Empire Strikes Back time. They've known each other.
Possibly. No, because it's like even in those comics, all those comics, that like he's still struggling to figure out how to become a Jedi. Like he's still rocking with like the yellow lightsaber. I think if anything, it's after Return of the Jedi where they meet. Like they're probably gonna set that up like somewhere right after Return of the Jedi. It's like, hey, I knew your father and blah blah blah, and this is who I am. Because if they make it seem like they knew each other like in the middle of the original trilogy, then it's like, why didn't you help out? Why'd you leave us? Like, why didn't you help me train? Why didn't you do this? It's like, where were you?
Well,
because
let me ask you this. There's a rumor that 2 Jedi are supposed to be in Andor, and someone said, what if it's Obi-Wan and Ahsoka?
it is.
And
It
if
is.
that's the reunion of them, is that when she'll find out about Luke and Leia?
That's a possibility.
Possibility.
And then
That
she'll know,
sounds-
oh, the babies lived and it was twins. And now I have
She
to
could-
go find Luke.
Because I'm with you. I agree. I think that it could be one of those things like where she sees Kenobi again, and they're gonna have a conversation like, hey, did you know? Because I was at so and so's funeral, like like bullshitting, but like behind the scenes, and it could be like maybe he's like, well,
he knew everything. He's gonna be like, girl, I know everything. I was there.
right,
for the
like
birth.
what I'm saying, like
I was there for the
I'm the one who took
send-off.
the
I
son.
saved it.
Yeah, like I'm the one. Shit, I'm the one who raised this kid. He's my
Literally.
priority.
I
And
risked
that's
my
probably-
life. I had to go rescue Leia twice.
Right, like and then that can add more to it, because even if like Dupree, like I mean, again, this is all opinion, right? If that fight that argument could be made where Luke says, well, where were you? Well, it could be, well, remember, she couldn't even train Grogu because again, she herself wasn't even ready to do
Exactly.
that. So if she couldn't even train Grogu, she can't. How she wasn't even ready to. There was no way she was ready to train Luke at that point in time. That's why again Kenobi was there, because that was his Padawan. That was
different. That's on a whole different timeline. Like after Return of the Jedi, like it's Grogu, and Grogu is still like a little kid versus like Luke, who's like a Jedi Knight.
Well, yeah, but it's still.
He's already a Jedi Knight. He's already defeated Vader and Palpatine. Like he's already set. Versus like this little 50-year-old kid, so to speak, which is odd to say, who's like basically still a Padawan.
Yes, well, I mean, he is still a Padawan.
Well, for all we know, in Andor, Obi-Wan might tell her why she has to stay away for now.
Right.
And he could
But
use
she doesn't know about Vader, though.
Well, yeah, okay.
Well, I think he has to stay away in a sense of from Luke. That's what that's what I think. I mean, I don't think she could. I don't think it's her time to really be around that in that
right.
time.
Like if he tells her and then she wants to see him, and he's gonna be like, no, like you can't do that now. And maybe it's even gonna be because he'll say, look, you're not even like all that right with your relationship with the Force right now. Like you can't be around him. It's not
that, and also too, like I mean, this is before Rebels, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So no, I was gonna say. I mean, remember, this is still like the time that she was kind of like. I mean, she was still kind of off the grid. So like, even if she starts coming back, but I mean, at this point, you figure she's not gonna be ready to train Luke anyway. Like,
no.
I just don't. There's no way. Like, even if she were to find out, like, I don't even think she'll even be like, hey, like, can I see Luke? Can I look? Like, I think her thing is more like, if anything, I need to stay away because I'm not even physically there yet in a sense of training. Maybe she's still training herself as well. I mean, I don't know.
She would. I could see her being more interested in getting information about Anakin out of Obi-Wan than getting information about Luke.
He's just gonna tell her he died. Just for, like after Kenobi in the Kenobi series, like Kenobi's just view was like Anakin is like, nah, he's dead. Like it's only Vader.
Right.
And then he's not even gonna mention who Vader is or Vader or anything, because in Rebels, like she's like just finding out there's this crazy powerful Sith Lord. She doesn't even know.
Yeah, she just found out like when she was on the ship. Remember when she had like basically her like when they crossed paths? Like, I mean, I don't know. There's
I hated how they did that in Kenobi.
I mean, who knows? I mean, Andor could be so many different things. Again, I mean, we didn't know. I mean, we didn't know in the Kenobi series that people could die at the by lightsabers and then come back to life. Like, we didn't know that. Like, until we saw the Grand Inquisitor. It's like what?
It's called plot armor.
Yep.
Yeah. So we learned.
It's called bad
plot
writing.
armor proof vest.
Yeah. Lightsaber
Called,
vest.
we paid too much for this actor. We have to keep him around to get our money's worth.
Meanwhile, Liam Neeson, you gotta go.
Yeah. Up until Rebels season 1, and then you can go. That's it. Inquisitor. That's it. You'll be fine after that. But yeah, I mean, a lot to look forward to. Super excited for the Andor series again.
Do you think Bale's in Andor?
Andor, Tales of the Jedi. I was talking about.
He's confirmed.
Who?
For Bale? He'll be in it?
Yeah, he's confirmed to be in the show. He's gonna be in the show. Right. Yeah.
Well, then are we gonna see Leia?
that could be a possibility because
That's what I
you
want to
can't.
know.
Well,
If he's
I
gonna
mean,
be
if you
like,
see
okay,
Bail,
you
like
gotta
that's
see
like
what I
it's like
do.
maybe, yeah.
well, don't forget in Leia, Princess of Alderaan, she was about 15, 16 when she actually found out about the rebellion. So it would depend on like how old she is in the show, and if they want to retcon part of that to make it that she knows about it sooner or not. Because she found out by being like ridiculously nosy, and then she found out, and then her dad had to go like spring her out of like his own jail, and he's like, you weren't even supposed to be here. She's like, well, I followed the trail. And so she was like 15 or 16 when she found out about the whole everything. So I don't know if they're gonna retcon that and like have her come in sooner or not. What do you guys think?
It would be cool if she was in it, but I don't know if they would, honestly.
I mean, she's in Rebels. She kind of is. She's like barely finding out, and she's working. She steals like the Hammerhead Corvettes for them. So maybe I don't know.
Has
Because
there
at
been
that
any like
point,
casting rumors of like a young girl that was casted for it that could play her?
They were trying to cast what's her name from Stranger Things.
Millie
Yeah,
Bobby, whatever. Yeah. I
Who?
don't know. Millie, but the
Millie
girl
Bobby
from
Brown.
Stranger Things.
oh,
Was
her.
that a confirmed rumor? Like, was that a thing that for sure happened, or was that just a fan rumor that she was gonna be Leia?
No, they were talking. They were like Kathleen
Oh.
Kennedy and her were actually talking about her being in Star Wars, but it's like, what else would she be? Like, she looks just like Carrie Fisher, and she's really young. Like, what else would she be?
Yeah. I mean, I think her story. I think her story is kind of done. I don't need to see more. I think at this point, I'm good. I think
Talking
it's
about that.
huh.
They're gonna milk everything they can out of the original three, with them being younger, like as much as they can.
Well, now they are. After, I mean, if they do a season 2 of Kenobi, we're gonna be seeing Luke a lot more.
Well, thank you for changing the topic because that's what we're gonna get into now. So that can turn into it. Thank you. I was trying to do that, so it ended up popping up perfect.
You're welcome.
No. Listen, see, you already fit in, right? You fit right in already. So if you see here, basically McGregor was interviewed by what was it? I don't know. So he was in an interview, and they asked him about season 2, and he said, "I'm totally up for it. I want to do it." So what you're saying is that there's nothing known or being planned at all. McGregor says, "I'm absolutely honest. There's no plans made yet, but I'm pretty sure they're just bidding their time, but nobody has approached me as of yet." So basically season 2 is
Nice.
happening.
He's a liar. I don't believe a single thing that man says.
He's a good one because like they confirmed that they were doing a Kenobi series or movie way back when Solo came out, and he's like, I had to lie for like 2-3 years, so it's like
he's like Andrew being like, it was Photoshop, it was a fake.
Yeah, basically. I mean, look, if you think about it, either way, I mean, he's gonna be quiet for the next 2 years, just like he was then, right? Because think about it, they can't start filming Kenobi anyway until 2024. They're not gonna do anything this year. They're not gonna do anything next. Well, this year's already shot. Next year, I mean, they could start maybe filming, but they have to still tackle the Lando series that's slated on that chart up until 2027. So that has to come out first. Like that was on the, like basically like the phase 1 of Star Wars. But again,
they're still doing that.
Of course, they have to. That's their
they're just
time.
waiting on Donald Glover. His schedule, he's just really busy.
Yeah,
Okay.
remember it was supposed to happen, but what happened was COVID. COVID got in the way, and then everything took a pause. So that's why, like, Kenobi was supposed to come out last year. Ahsoka was supposed to come out this year, but again, because of COVID, production had to stop, and that's why they couldn't really do much. Everything got delayed. So, season 2 happening. I mean, definitely. I guess the question more is like, where do they go with season 2? And I'll throw it to you. Where do you think they go with season 2? That you think, or that you would want to see?
Well, I saw someone when the finale came out. They're like, "Oh, it ended the way this show should have started with Qui-Gon."
Yep.
So I wonder if it's going to pick back up with him. I would hope. I mean, if you're going through the trouble of hiring Liam, I would assume that they would have filmed more scenes with him. So I would like to see him training Obi-Wan. I know there's been rumors that Maul will be brought in it. I don't know if they would do that. I mean, cool if they do. I don't know if they're going to.
I mean, it would. I mean, the only thing that it would have to just be then focus more is on Crimson Reign. Like that'd have to be a side thing because he doesn't see Kenobi until Rebels. So,
well, you need like the main villain, right? And it can't be Reva because I would argue that she's kind of like they're doing the redemption arc for her now. Right?
They have to tie up her loose ends too because obviously. Like
is she teaming up with Obi-Wan now? Like, is he gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna like bring you back to the light side. Like, we'll figure it out together," or is she gonna go off and do her own thing and then run into trouble? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we also have to
is Leia coming back, or is it just?
We also have to figure out what happens to Quinlan Voss because that was a huge Easter egg.
Right, he needs to be in it. I want him in it.
I've been dying for his ass to be in it. Clone Wars did such a bad job on him. I'm sorry. I will say till the day I drop. Yeah, Jasmine, you know, because I've been preaching for this man. I've done like 10,000 videos on Quinlan Voss, and I have to say, but it pisses me off because how do you look? You saw him in the Phantom Menace, but I mean, it wasn't a big deal. But that was George Lucas's character still because he wanted to bring him eventually. That was his goal. He was mentioned in Revenge of the Sith. Okay, with Anakin, then you bring him into Clone Wars, and he's a joke. He's a joke of like he's a hippie. Like, no offense towards any hippies, I'm just saying like he's like a hipster, and it's like no, like in the book of Dark Disciple, he is so dark. Like he is not this like like no, he's not, and he's a joke. And I'm sorry, but like they need to fix his character up so quick.
Well, what version do you think we would get in live action though? Because I would say we would get the Clone Wars version.
Kind of would.
I bet they would do that.
I don't think so. I really don't. I
think if Dave's gonna have any involvement as creative director, I think he'd say that's what we're doing.
Well, it's like you said before, he had no involvement in Kenobi, really. So
I know he dropped the ball.
I mean, look, I can't see him doing it. And you know, at the end of the day, like if he's not a part of it, even better because it could be somebody else's version of Quinlan Voss, and I'm okay with that. Like, give me anything other than what we got in the Clone Wars. Like,
Clone Wars fans would be so mad.
Not really. I mean, it's not like he only was in a couple episodes. I mean,
I know, but I mean, I enjoyed the Clone Wars version. I know there's a lot of people that loved the Clone Wars version, so I think if they saw like completely different versions,
read the book.
That's like I know, but people won't, and I think they'd be mad. They'd be like, "Well, this isn't what I wanted."
Different because it's like that's a dark Quinlan versus like like regular Jedi. Like, hey, what's up, Kenobi? Versus like dark, like he's in love with like Ventress. Like it's two different periods in his life.
No, but he would be darker, and I guess now though, after Order 66 and everything, I'm sure he probably would be like, "Yeah, this is messed up."
You have to remember, automatically, I know we don't like to say this, or it's not really a thing, but he was a great Jedi anyway. He was an in-between. He was never really on anyone's side, and he dabbled in the dark side anyway. And remember, in Dark Disciple, that's what made his turn even all the more darker, because of Asajj Ventress dying at the hands of Dooku in his arms. Asajj dies. So if anything, it wouldn't be the Clone Wars version because he'd be pissed off. Because I mean, look, we don't even know what happened to Asajj technically after the Clone Wars. Right? I mean, we know she dies in Dark Disciple. That's still considered canon, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So if that's considered, from my understanding, it is. So I'm just trying to like verify. So if that's still considered canon, then that means Asajj is dead, died at the hands of Dooku, as it was said, and died in his arms, and he became darker. And at that point in time, you figure, like, let's say 10 years later now, or 11, even in the comic series, which I'm talking about, you know which one I'm talking about, Dupree, when he dies at the hands of Vader, when he sacrifices himself, he's a very darker character. He's not that like that quirky, jokester. And I mean, again, this is the Purge, right? Like this is after the Purge. So you figure he's pissed. The love, the person that he loved died. I mean, how could you not be that much more darker and angry at that point in time? 10 years later, I mean, there's no Jedi around. I mean, we know that he's doing the right thing. He's helping out the rebellion. We see that, right, in the Kenobi series. So, I mean, he's helping out Force sensitives, basically go through these tunnels. So,
I just think season 2 will focus a lot more on Reva.
On who?
Reva. Which is unfortunate because I wasn't a fan of the character. So.
Oh no!
Really?
You're the shattering of his heart.
Time out.
Do you all love her?
What?
Me and Rob do. Dupree, how do you feel?
I mean, I don't love her or hate her.
Okay.
I saw the fan edit, and it made me like her character even more. You guys
Okay.
see the 2 hour fan edit where that dude made the series into like 1 2 hour movie?
I didn't.
It
No.
makes it
Oh
so
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah, yeah.
better, and then especially like he makes it to where like Vader basically kills her after he like beats her on like the planet when she tries to portray him. So it makes
Well, that's what was supposed to happen originally.
Yeah.
She was supposed to die at the end by
yeah,
Vader.
so it makes her whole arc better, and they like just take that whole Luke Skywalker running away thing and all that away, so it makes it
Mhm.
so it's like she's a little bit more redeemable when you take out a lot of like the silly stuff they did with her. But I don't think she was a bad character. I just think
The writing.
they
I
just
just
had to
thought
like
she was unnecessary.
yeah. I'm like they could have made her cool and badass and just
I think she
killed her
was.
because like offed her because the Inquisitors, like you don't see them at the beginning of A New Hope or even Rogue One. They're all gone. So it's like I just want them to like just like take them all out in cool different ways, and that would have been a cool way just to like end her story, where like her trying to stab Vader in the back, and that's it.
Yeah.
I
I
probably
agree.
would have liked her more. I mean, hey, she might win me back in season 2. Season 1, I
I
wasn't
think she's
feeling
gonna be a
it.
part. I think she might even help the rebellion. I think she might be a part of it, and she'd be an asset. I mean, that's
She
another.
probably will.
Honestly,
No more. You can't have any Force sensitives like later, like in the rebellion, man. Like she's like the only one. I mean, Luke's the only one. Like later on.
yeah. Well, I mean, she could die too before. I mean,
I
She
think
could
she'll
die, or
die.
maybe she just chooses to like giving. She could choose to give up, the Force, if anything.
True.
That could be part of like her reform. She's like, you know what? I use this for evil. I'm just done using it. So even if she is in the
Mhm.
rebellion, maybe she gave it up, and so Luke
yeah,
really is truly the only one.
right. Yeah.
I don't know what season 2 would really focus on. I mean, well, I have a question for all of you. Do you think Vader would be in season 2?
No.
Or do you think they're done?
No, they would have to. And even if they decided to bring Maul in or whatever, it would be like a Vader versus. It'd be Kenobi doing his own thing, and then finding out Vader's there, Vader hunting him again, and then it'd probably be like another character like fighting Vader instead of Kenobi.
I got one for you guys that we're forgetting about. Takes place the same time. Cal Kestis, guys. Let's not forget about him.
Ain't nobody care about him.
How dare you?
I know, for real, bro. Come
I
on,
don't
man.
care
Get
about
outta
it.
here.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care.
Yeah, no.
How dare you
Everybody cares.
guys?
Everybody's dying for. Listen, you played the game. Stop. You love the game. Don't even play yourself. It's a great.
Yeah,
game.
but I'm saying
It's
like
a great game, but I mean, like, in terms of characters I want in live action, he's not the top of the list. But I know for many people he is, and they want him in like a live action. I won't deny that. Like, I know.
Right. Yeah, no.
For
I
me,
mean,
I'm just.
I think if you're gonna talk about a season 2, right? Because they have been tampering with his character. They've been literally like teasing us for the past couple months, and you know it, Dupree. They've been teasing us a lot, talking about how he's supposed to be in some live action. We don't know where he's coming. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in Andor. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the Kenobi series of season 2. We could see him anywhere, to be honest, because that's the beauty of his story, right? It's unknown. We don't know what his story is after this. I mean, we'll find out.
he has 2 more games, so he has the next. What is it? The Survivor, and then he has 1 more game after that, and then that's it for him.
Right. Well, I mean, we don't know if he's gonna die. We don't know when that game will take place. But I'm saying either way, you know what I'm saying. His story is unwritten as of now, and they even said it. A big name character is supposed to be in Jedi Survivor, so like it's supposed to be a character that we know of. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see either Ahsoka, Kenobi, like passing around. Probably
It could be Obi-Wan.
It could be. That's what I'm saying.
Be.
It could be Kenobi, and that's a beautiful plot because listen, in this game that's supposed to come out, it's supposed to be like an ancient Sith that like is resurrected or comes back to life that came out of like a Bacta tank and shit, and like he's gonna need some help. So, and I don't think freaking Ahsoka is gonna help him or anything. I think it'd be him. Go ahead, Dupree.
No, I might have a theory. I'll tell you about later because we're probably going to end up making videos about it.
All right, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I mean, what do you think, Jasmine, with that?
I mean, you know how I feel. I don't want a season 2 of Kenobi. I kind of didn't even want the Kenobi
Right.
show.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the show. I'm okay with it. I can live with it. You know, some parts I really liked, a few parts I'm cringing a little, but I absolutely do not want a season 2. I think it's just going to ruin everything. But if they're going to make things worse and have a season 2, I definitely want Cal Kestis, because I feel like at that point in time it would make sense to see him. Even if he's not the star of it, I would love to see him at least for like 1 or 2 episodes, just kind of tie him in.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Cal Kestis, especially. I hate that I forgot her name. I think it's like Autumn24, something like that on Tumblr. Who she's an artist, and she does a lot of fan art and fan fiction. And her thing was, I know it's a little goofy, but I love it. I will die by it. Is that Kenobi took young Ahsoka and young Cal to Tatooine, and he helped raise them two and baby Luke. And I was like, you know what? After that, I was like, I need them interact. I don't care if it's like passing glance. I need to see them interact. I think it would be really interesting, because I feel like it would give Kenobi at least a little bit more hope that, oh, another youngling did survive. Yeah, maybe he's not doing too well, but he survived, you know? I think it would give him hope, because especially after what happened with Nari, he's like, forget about it. 2 seconds later, he's like, oh God, he's dead. Like, I think he needs to see that like some people were able to hold on and survive. That would be impactful, especially if he is going to do training with Qui-Gon. I think he needs more of that hope.
Well, do you think Cal would just be a cameo in live action, or do you think that's going to set up his own project in the future, whether it's a show or a film?
If it's for Kenobi, just a cameo, maybe set him up for Andor, maybe set up for Ahsoka. I don't think he would get his own show, but I think he would definitely be a part of something else bigger. For Kenobi, probably something small, but for another show, I think he'd have a bigger part in it.
So you don't think they'd give him his own project?
I mean, he has the video games. I don't know if they'd be like, oh, you get video games and a show, because they're basically telling the story through the games. So I don't know if he'd actually get his own show.
I just feel like he has such a big fan base that because of the games, they want to see him in live action. So I feel like that's why Disney cash grab, which is why I feel like they're even doing a season 2 of Kenobi to begin with. So I feel like if they saw like a profit in a Cal show or a movie, I think they would do it.
How about like, I'm still waiting for it's funny you you mentioned Prophet Hondo. When does he?
Oh my God, no!
My king.
No,
I love him.
Hondo and Dr. Afra are the only characters I want to see in live action.
Yeah, Dr. Afra. Yeah.
Like like 000 and like the other droid. That's all I want to see in live action.
Yeah.
I would die. Okay, I would want him in Kenobi season 2. I want that interaction.
Much profit.
I want him to be like, "Whoa, you're alive? Like, what's up?"
Yeah, like you're still going around, like pirating
and
around.
Kenobi just rolling his eyes, so mad of all the people I could see.
I mean, where I think come to think of it, I didn't think of this. He might make his appearance actually in the Ahsoka series to help find Ezra. I didn't think of that. I totally forgot.
That would be good. I could see it. I mean, he's in Rebels.
Him and Ezra are, he has a good relationship with him, because remember, he helped him at the end. He was like, I will do what, he was like, I'll do whatever it takes to help Ezra at the end, which he did for Lothal. So I wouldn't be surprised that's where he makes his live action, because Filoni's gonna make this shit go so round, like so full circle, and have characters from like the Clone Wars. Like, even though like we said earlier, like it's not like originally his baby, but like again,
Ahsoka is his baby.
Right. So like I wouldn't be surprised like Hondo makes his debut there. What do you think, Dupree? What do you think?
Like I said, either or. Hondo is like one of those like super like reaching back callbacks that's gonna make everybody really happy. And yeah, you're right. He could be in Obi-Wan season 2 or Ahsoka, either or. Like, because he's had like a lot to do with those characters. Like all of them. Even like I think they were talking about also making like a Rebels live action series. He could be in that too if they decide to do that too.
Oh, I don't know if I'd want that though.
I would not want that.
I think the animation version is good. The animated is way better.
Well, I mean, if the characters are already going to be in Ahsoka,
I'm good.
Why do a live
I'm good.
action?
Well,
And then
I
it'd
don't
have
know.
to be more than one season, I'm assuming, with like how popular Rebels was. I feel like they couldn't just do one season. So then would we get multiple seasons of a live action Rebels?
I
I'm
mean, I
good.
doubt it because it's like you don't have Kanan. You know, it's like a lot of the characters that people really like from that show are probably either dead or gone. So it's, you know, what could you
All
really
right,
do with a Rebel
all right,
series?
Justin Timberlake and Ti, dead and gone.
It's stupid.
The old me's dead and gone. You ready? Yeah, I think it goes back. So I wanted to like kind of go full circle to what you were saying, Jasmine. I think that with Cal, I mean, we're going back. I'm going back to that. That I think that it would be so full circle for Kenobi because at the end of the series, you saw how like he had a smile on. He was very hopeful with the rebellion and the direction that it was going. So I definitely would think that seeing Cal would bring much more joy to him. I think it'll be
Yeah.
like another step in the direction is like, all right, like I think I could really walk away and step away knowing that things will be okay. You know what I'm saying? And then knowing that Luke is like on the horizon of like gonna become like, you know, the chosen one. Cause again, like we knew he was the one after we got, you know, when you hear Maul and Rebels, like, is he the, you know, is he the chosen one? And he tells him, yeah, basically, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cal really makes that appearance there. So I
That
want.
would be full circle. And then he could say, like, I got your message. Because in the first game with Obi-Wan and you see Cal, like, hears it. That'd be sweet.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Question:
That would be
How do you
sweet.
guys
And then
feel about
Obi-Wan
That
would
is
be
so
like,
good. I didn't even think of that. That's
see,
a
wouldn't that be like, oh my God, and then Obi-Wan would probably get emotional, but it would be really sweet. It'd be like, yeah, I heard you. Like, you gave me hope in that
because
moment.
hold up, wait a minute. Now that I think about that, right? If I'm not mistaken, didn't Ezra hear the message from Kenobi? Wasn't it Kenobi?
They all
that he-
did.
They
Yeah,
all
that
did.
was the first time you see it. Yeah,
Right.
Kanan,
So,
Ezra, like
right.
literally everybody that survived saw that message.
Yeah. So it's like, and Obi-Wan doesn't know that, you know, for all he
Right.
knows, like, I helped nobody. Like, everyone's gone. So to have
Right.
someone to like, say, not only am I, like, still a Jedi, but I
Yup.
also heard you, like, that would mean everything to him.
Yeah. I didn't think of that. That's a good one. That's a really, really good one. You know, but yeah, that's season 2. So we'll see what happens with that. And then we'll just finish it off with this little thing that we got here. We'll talk about this and we'll wrap it up. We got this, guys. We have
Yes.
till November 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for all those late nights?
I don't know if I'm gonna really. I mean, it depends. I mean, it's something we have to talk about. I mean, it all depends how. Honestly, it depends how the first 2 episodes go. But I don't really know. Like this show, like I mean, I told you, Dupree. I mean, I'm gonna be blunt. I've said it before. I'm not gonna like put up a front. Like the show to me, it hasn't called me. The only thing that calls me is the lower levels that we're gonna see Coruscant, and maybe that's where we'll see something come up that like, you know, it's kind of like off the grid that like we weren't expecting. But like other than that, I'm really not. I mean, I know they went ham on this show. Like I know the director or whatever, the producer, whatever was like, you know, that we actually use locations to film this. Like we didn't use any like the panorama screen or whatever the case may be. But I mean, that's not gonna sell it to me. Like I really, you know, again, after seeing Kenobi, you know, and that was like full of characters that we grew up with loving, still didn't even hit hard. So I mean, why? And you have the most iconic characters in that, right? Vader, Kenobi, you know, 2 the biggest icons, the biggest villain probably in history is Darth Vader, right? That everybody knows of. And it's like, I'm supposed to what? Be scared and just or learn about Andor? Like,
I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I mean, I did an Instagram story about it. I was like, the way they're marketing this show differently than everything, like, I think they got it set up for something big.
But it took a lot. This show took a lot longer to film. Like this show was in production for
a long
a
time.
good few years now because you know they were built. I remember when they were building and having set leaks like almost 3 years ago for this show, and it's like the production value in it is going to be like huge versus what they did for Kenobi. You know,
God.
you know,
This
like
should
they
have been
actually
Kenobi.
built like they actually shut down like a British airfield to film, and build like a whole soundstage over there versus over here them just using the void. I mean, not the void. What is it? The screens and everything. Which
Yeah.
you now I feel like you can kind of tell when something like looks cheap now because I felt like they tried to save as much money with Kenobi as they could, and every other show got like the treatment. Like Book of Boba looks amazing. Like it was shot like it looks great. It may not have been a good show, but it looks great.
Yeah, I got
And
100 mil.
Mando looked amazing. They looked like they spent like a good amount of money with that. And same
Mhm.
thing with Andor. And now you have like, Obi-Wan. It looks like a really expensive fan film.
The lowest budget. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, and Andor has the highest budget, and I think that's for a reason. I mean, they don't play around with money, obviously. If they're gonna give like Kenobi the lowest budget with who's like one of the most important characters, I mean, Andor got that budget for a reason and got renewed so fast for a reason. Like they have
Yeah.
plans for that show.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you could tell that with this show, they have a plan. Like, there's definitely a plan. Even though we know their outcome, they definitely have a plan. To explain everything. I think that's what this show is. And I was reading the article. Like, they're definitely gonna take their time with this show. They're not rushing it. I guess that's why it's a 3-episode what is it, premiere, because it's gonna be a lot. It's a lot to take in, and it's just more of are we ready for this ride? I mean, the other thing that we have coming up too during this time is which I'm happy, going back to kind of full circle from this live stream, is Tales of the Jedi that comes out too in the fall. So I'm thinking it's probably gonna come out right after this, because what is it, fall? I mean, fall ends when, in December, right? Or November? Winter starts in November. I mean, in
Winter starts end of November.
End of November. So you figure this will probably take place like maybe in November. Then I'm assuming. I'm thinking I'm thinking maybe, yeah. And
because
it's
Bad Batch got pushed back because of Andor. So
correct, right? And I wouldn't be surprised with Tales of the Jedi. They just kind of release it all, kind of like they did with Visions. They just kind of just throw it out there, and you have all the episodes there. And you can
really,
just watch it. That's what I'm thinking.
I thought they'd release it in the arcs. So like you would get the 2 Dooku episodes, and then you would get the 3 Ahsoka episodes.
I don't think
Depends on how long the episodes are. If they're short,
True.
they'll probably just release it all.
Right.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, Tales of the Jedi is more like a one, and it's kind of like Visions. I think they're gonna see how this plays out, and if it ends up doing good, they might do some other stuff with it, because this also could be the potential start of something good, because they could possibly, if this goes good, right, and talking about like origin stuff, like things that happened already or started, this could dabble in like the High Republic and Old Republic shit. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
I love the animated shows. So
yeah,
I would.
Icon.
What I want them to do is I want them to do like something like this, but for like all different characters. Like it'd be kind of cool if they did it for like, like Han, like R2, like any random character, and give him like a side story, like a real kind of side story, like kind of like What If, but actual canon stuff.
Right. I mean, just mend the gap, like show the stuff that we want to see. I mean, Plagueis, like that would be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, how Revan was teased in Clone Wars in that one episode. Like, if we did that whole arc, I mean, that would be so popular. It would do amazing.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I'm like, but yeah, no. So I agree. I think that this could be the beginning, the opener to other things. I think they're gonna see how well this is received, and if it's done well, which it looks like it's gonna be done really good. I think they might do another Tales of the Jedi, because again, this was a comic run too. I mean, it had nothing to do about this, but it was a comic run, and that comic run was actually really freaking good. If you haven't read Tales of the Jedi in the comics, go check it out, because it's really good. You even have some things like with Mace Windu that I know Dupree and I have talked about. You ever hear that's funny? That's really funny. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do more of this, kind of like how they're doing Vision season 2. We're getting that, and that has nothing to do with canon. So I would definitely be on the lookout for a season 2 of Tales of the Jedi. I would say probably in like the next 2 years, because we still have other things that we got to get. But I want to thank you guys for whoever watched and that will watch. Thank you for hopping on. I want to thank this awesome panel who we had today. Again, you guys know Darth Hater. We know Verity Who, Jasmine. Thank you guys for obviously returning and always being good. Thank you, so much. But before we do leave, I want everybody to do their little thing of where to find them and what they have coming up. So I'll throw it to you, Dupree.
You guys know me. Follow me on stuff, the Instagram, the YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. Darth Hater on everything.
Sounds good. The hate is there for sure.
The hate is there.
The hate is definitely there. I'll throw it to you, girl.
I'm actually taking a social media break, so
Why do you-
Rob, we've talked about this. Why do you think I changed my name?
I know. I don't want to really, but it's so funny. You ever seen that SNL skit of Debbie Downer? She's
Yeah.
That's what reminded me of.
Don't follow me.
Just
I'm
love
nothing.
it.
Oh my god.
When
love
I'm
you.
back on social media, I'll make sure that Rob promotes it for me.
Yes. As you know, we always do here. And then we'll close it out with you. Just let them know where to find you and what you have coming up on any of your platforms.
Nothing coming up.
Okay, cool. That was good. Very, very active. Okay.
You can find me on Instagram, Kenobi, TikTok, _Kenobi. I am active on there, just nothing big. Not a content creator, just a nerd having fun with other nerds. So that's me.
There you go. Gotta love the nerd stuff.
Did you say got a lurg?
Yeah, gotta learn.
Gotta learn.
Got a lurg.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. Zerg. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell so you're always in the know, and go check out my last channel, Darth Lopez. By the way, I love that we're using last names. I should have done that with mine. First time watching, I'll check out the replay. I believe the rumors of Darth Plague is the why. Oh, we didn't even talk about that, but we'll talk about that for the next live stream.
Next time.
Right? Ooh, okay,
Yes.
bring me on.
I know. Bring it on. Bring on all because we want the smoke. And we'll end it there. Thank you guys. Go check out my other channel, the Eternal Sith Network, where I have videos and everything Star Wars news every single day. Go check it out. You'll never be bored, and you'll have fun there with my awesome energy and excitement. Horns up. Later, guys. By the way, stick around.
Okay.
Yeah.